A couple came to the hospital. The husband, Tommy, wasn't feeling well. The wife, Hannah, informed the nurses that he had spent 3 days without eating. The nurses carried out different tests to figure out exactly what the problem was, but Tommy showed symptoms of a bacterial infection. The nurses told them not to worry, as they were going to start him on clindamycin, an oral antibiotic to protect him from any infection. They advised Tommy to rest for the next few days as he recovered. As he got off the bed, his ankle started to hurt. The nurse asked to take a look. After removing his shoe, everyone was terrified his ankle had become red, swollen, hot, and tender. The nurse gave him an injection to reduce the pain and made a small incision to collect a sample. Tommy was shocked when he saw what was coming out of his ankle. The nurse told him to wait for the results. After some time, Tommy started reacting badly, and his wife Hannah called for help. The nurses rushed in to check on him again. The antibiotics hadn't worked, and instead of recovering, he was getting worse. Later, the nurses discovered that Tommy had gotten the bacteria from his wife. Hannah couldn't believe it and insisted that she didn't have any symptoms. The nurse explained that she didn't have an active infection, but she had pneumonia, meaning Hannah had been contagious for 10 years. The nurses told her they would carry out more tests to find out exactly what it was. Hannah asked Tommy to forgive her since she had no idea about her condition. Tommy promised her that they would figure out how to deal with it together. With this, Hannah got relieved. Bobby, the sound of the heart beating tortures the man. He grabs a pencil from the table. Without hesitation, he stabs it into his ear. Soon, he is brought into the emergency room. Dr. Chui carefully takes the pencil out of his ear and examines his ear. The man's bone membrane is pierced, but it can be repaired with surgery. However, the man doesn't seem to care about that, only asking Dr. Chui to listen to his heart.
Sounds normal to me.
The man explains that during his service, his convoy was caught in an explosion and his back is full of shrapnel.
I wish I could tell you there's a physical reason for the problem. I can't see one.
Dr. Chui notices that the jelly in the tray on his chest is shaking, so he picks up the stethoscope and listens to his heart.
It's possible Mr. Coleman's right. I think we should get a chest CT.
The shrapnel scars on his back create an echo chamber, which amplifies the sound waves of his heartbeat, causing the vibrations to travel to his inner ear, which is why he hears the sound of his heart beating in his head. But there is no way to treat this condition. The only solution is for him to adapt to it. Where do lost contact lenses go? They might be hiding right in your eyes. Just moments ago, 911 received an emergency call. An elderly woman said she suddenly felt a headache. Upon examination, the paramedic found the woman's right eye slightly red and swollen. Since contact lenses are disposable, when they go missing, the woman didn't pay much attention. One teammate quickly administered eye drops to her eye to make it easier to remove the lodged contact lens. The paramedic brought cotton swabs and lifted the woman's upper eyelid. As she used cotton swabs to peel off the contact lenses stuck in the woman's eye, there were so many that they had to be collected in a bag.
How many were in there?
More than a dozen.
Oh my goodness.
Well, it's a lot more common than you might think.
There was a woman in the UK who had 27 removed.
A girl lies on the floor. Her belly is as big as a balloon. The baby's head is already showing. But the mom is only 14 years old. Just now, firefighters got a call. The principal said it was just a teenager playing around. But the firefighters still checked it out. They were shocked to find a girl in labor in the bathroom. And that girl was the principal's daughter. She was so busy being the principal, she didn't even know her daughter was pregnant. The baby's head was already out. The firefighters had to deliver the baby right there. With one big scream, the baby was pushed out. The firefighter tore open the amniotic sac and sucked the fluid out of the baby's mouth. The baby was born safely. Only then did the principal arrive. Hopefully, she will pay more attention to her own child now. A man was showing his daughter how to use the nail gun. Suddenly, he accidentally shot a nail into his own chest. Seeing this, the daughter stood there in shock. Before she could react, the man collapsed straight to the ground. Then the daughter dialed 911. After telling the operator about the situation, she asked if she could pull out the nail. The operator quickly urged her not to move the nail, advising her to wait patiently for the rescue team. When the rescue team arrived, the paramedic quickly examined the man and found that his blood pressure was too low. The team cut open the man's clothes. Discovering that the nail was positioned near the heart, After a thorough examination, they suspected pericardial tamponade, indicating fluid accumulation around the heart. The man was placed on a stretcher and prepared to be taken to the hospital. On the way, the man suddenly realized he hadn't said goodbye to his daughter. However, before he could finish his words, the monitor showed that the man had entered shock. The team quickly placed a breathing mask on him and began CPR. Just then, a large amount of blood sprayed from the wound. The firefighter continued with CPR. With relentless efforts, the man's heartbeat was finally restored. Fortunately, at that moment, the fire truck arrived at the hospital. But the sight of opening the door startled the outside teammates. Steel rod had pierced through his head, yet he appeared to feel nothing. He was not only able to analyze his physical condition, but he also wanted to turn his head. Captain Bobby took a photo and showed it. The moment Chim, a firefighter, saw the picture, he couldn't help but be shocked. He couldn't understand why he was still alive, and why he felt no pain at all. Just moments ago, Chim was driving, almost crashing into a barrier on the road, and after that, the car instantly lost control. Though it stopped without any major danger, the truck behind couldn't stop. At that moment, Chim's situation was extremely critical. He didn't seem to be in pain, as there were no nerve receptors passing through there. But in reality, other parts of his body had already gone into shock. If not handled properly, Chim could have died on the spot, and he would have had to be taken to the hospital with the vehicle after several hours of emergency rescue. The steel rebar was finally removed. Chim underwent extensive hemorrhaging. He was still in a coma and might not wake up. Discovering that the robot seemed to malfunction, the man quickly approached to check, only to be unexpectedly knocked unconscious by the robot. As he fell into the box, subsequently, unaware colleagues labeled the box and sent him away. The man woke up only to find himself trapped inside the box. He quickly called 911. Due to being continuously jostled, he speculated he was on a delivery truck, fearful that, in the next moment, he might be sent out as a Christmas gift. Maddie instructed him to try opening the box, yet despite putting all his strength into it, he couldn't break free because he was shrink-wrapped. To make matters worse, the man was getting a little claustrophobic. Feeling like he was about to go crazy, Maddie told him to stay calm while searching for the location of cell phone signal. Soon, they traced the information to a delivery truck, a batch of Christmas gifts destined for overseas shipment. Next, they were about to be loaded onto an airplane. Meanwhile, the man sensed that he was in motion. He desperately pounded on the box, trying to make the outside world hear him. But the machine's noisy sounds drowned out his cries for help. When the firefighters received the notification, the plane had already been in the air for 18 minutes. Then it was diverted to the Southern California airport. They quickly arrived at the airport, but the cargo hold was filled with boxes. Just then, a phone rang inside the cargo hold. One firefighter immediately picked up a stethoscope to confirm the phone's location. Everyone swiftly cut open the box and found the man. However, at this point, the man was completely cold. Having already stopped breathing, the paramedic promptly performed CPR on him. After resuscitation, the man's pulse gradually returned and his body temperature rapidly increased. At this moment, the man's phone rang again. It turned out to be Maddie's call. She had promised to keep calling until the man was rescued. Learning that the man was safe, Maddie breathed a sigh of relief. The man also expressed his gratitude to her, thankful that he didn't end up as a Christmas gift.